Deep in Central Asia, archaeologists began unearthing the remains of a civilization that appeared entirely out of place. We are looking at the rugged, snow-capped mountains of ancient Afghanistan. Yet nestled within this isolated landscape, researchers discovered the hallmarks of classical Greece: massive gymnasiums, sprawling theaters, and Mediterranean-style columns. These remains belonged to a sophisticated society forged by mutiny and forced isolation, a forgotten kingdom that would eventually grow into a regional superpower. The story begins during the final, exhausted years of Alexander the Great's campaign in the east. At the Hydaspes River, Alexander's men encountered the full ferocity of Indian war elephants, massive beasts standing 10 feet tall that crushed armored infantry and sent the Greek horses into a blind panic. This encounter broke the army's spirit. The men mutinied, forcing Alexander to turn back, but he left thousands of his weary veterans behind to garrison the furthest edge of the frontier. After Alexander's death, the region was taken over by the Seleucid Empire. To the emperors in the west, these distant eastern outposts were little more than expendable bargaining chips. In 305 BC, the Seleucids struck a cold geopolitical trade. They officially ceded the eastern territories to the Mauryan Empire in exchange for a fleet of 500 war elephants. This peace treaty instantly dissolved the supply lines and communication routes that linked the veterans to their homelands. The transaction marooned the Greek garrison, trapping them behind new, hostile borders with no clear path back to the Mediterranean. Instead of fading away, the stranded garrison adapted. Under a local leader named Diodotus, the stranded Greek soldiers revolted against their Seleucid overlords and began minting their own independent currency. They established the Greco-Bactrian kingdom, a rogue state determined to forge its path in Central Asia. They poured their resources into building Ai-Khanoum, a massive metropolis constructed on a precise Hellenic grid in the middle of the Afghan desert. The city featured a 5,000-seat theater and classical gymnasiums, cultural anchors designed to serve a minority Greek population ruling over 1 million local subjects. The scale of Ai-Khanoum shows that these castaways were aggressively engineering a piece of Greece to ensure their identity survived the isolation. This defiance eventually triggered an invasion. The Seleucid Emperor Antiochus III marched a massive imperial army east to finally crush the rebellion. The Greco-Bactrian king, Euthydemus, met the threat with an elite force of 10,000 cavalry. In a cinematic midnight cavalry clash at the river, Euthydemus's horsemen stalled the imperial advance, proving the Bactrians were a lethal military power. The brutal war then devolved into a grueling siege at the capital city of Bactra that lasted for 2 years. Using massive mud brick fortifications, the Greco-Bactrians withstood a relentless assault from the greatest superpower of the age. By forcing the Seleucids into a grinding stalemate, the Greco-Bactrians earned official recognition and secured their right to exist as an independent power. Once their survival was secure, the Greeks began interacting deeply with the local cultures and the Indian empires to their east. In this era of contact, Emperor Ashoka of the Mauryan Empire sent the first Buddhist missionaries into Greco-Bactrian territory. We see physical evidence of this in Ashoka's royal edicts, carved directly into the stone of Greek cities. The top half of this specific edict is written in Standard Greek, showing Hellenic culture became a functional part of early Buddhist law. This collision of worlds resulted in a unique artistic evolution. Classical Greek techniques were applied directly to Eastern spiritual icons. This Buddha statue represents the final evolution of the Greco-Bactrians. The Eastern deity is draped in the deeply folded robes of a classical Greek toga. The legacy of Greco-Bactria is a testament to human resilience, a forgotten people who proved that isolation can force a culture to evolve into something entirely new.